All right, good morning. Welcome to this function to receive and accept this Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi. May I now request all of us to be upstanding for the anthem. And there will be 3 of them, so we remain standing until we finish the Chinese anthem.
Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you very much, colleagues. Our guest of honor, the CS Minister of Education, Professor Magoha, the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Dr. Vijo Ratansi, the Chair of Council, Professor Julia Ojambo, the Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellors, colleagues present, and I note Professor Crispus Kiamba, former Vice Chancellor. Welcome to this occasion. We are here to receive and launch the Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi. May I now invite the director of the institute to make some remarks and do some recognitions. Director, Confucius Institute.
Thank you, Chair. Honored Professor George Magoha, CS for Ministry of Education, Dr. Vijo Ratansi, Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Professor Julia Ojambo, Chair, University of Nairobi Council, Professor Stephen Kiyama, Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. So, let me take the opportunity to invite our guest from China who are joining us today by online means. Mr. Wu Peng, the Chinese ambassador to Kenya. Welcome, Mr. Wu Peng 先生. And Mr. Ma Jianfei, the Deputy Chief Executive of the Confucius Institute Headquarters, Beijing, China. Welcome. And Professor Zheng Yinghua, the President of Tianjin University. Welcome. 欢迎 欢迎吴大使，欢迎马主任，欢迎钟校长。So today is a particularly important day to us. The Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi is pleased and honored to host our distinguished guests and the staff who have come to witness the handing over of the new Confucius Institute Center. I would like to express a special thanks to the Kenyan and the Chinese government for their tremendous support. Let me also thank the University Council and the management as well as staff from various departments for their cooperation and that has made this day successful. So finally, I wish the handing over ceremony of the new center of the Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi a success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. May I now invite the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi to make his remarks and then invite the Ambassador.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, good morning. Yes, welcome also my colleagues from the other side. We are happy to see you participating in this event. The Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education, Professor George Magoha, who is the guest today, the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Joe Ratanzi, the Chairman of the University of Nairobi Council, Professor Judy Ojiabo, Your Excellency, Ambassador Wu Peng, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, the President of Tianjin University, Professor Son Yinhua, the Chancellor, the Deputy Chief of the Confucius Institute, headquarters in Beijing, Mr. Ma Jianwei, the Deputy Vice Chancellors here present, and Professor Crispus Kiaba, the former Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Director of the Confucius Institute, Siashan, ladies and gentlemen. I take this opportunity to welcome you all, those online and those attending in person to this short but very, very historic ceremony. Today we witness the official handing over of the facility by the government of the Republic of China, represented by His Excellency Ambassador Wu Peng, to the university through the government of Kenya, represented by our very own Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to begin my remarks by thanking the President of Tianjin University, Professor Son Yinhua, who called me sometimes last month when Kenya had just reported a few positive cases of COVID-19 to express his solidarity with the University of Nairobi and the people of Kenya. Indeed, Professor Zon was very kind to support the University of Nairobi with the donation of 1,000 masks to support staff when they continue to work. We are very, very grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, the Confucius Center in Nairobi was established to promote cultural diversity and harmony through teaching of Chinese languages and culture in Kenya and the region. Since its establishment in 2015, we have witnessed tremendous growth of interest from Kenyans yearning to learn Chinese language. This center has performed well in promoting Chinese language studies and encouraging interaction between citizens of the two countries. The center is a reflection of the spirit of partnership and the strong friendship that exists between our two governments. This center where we are now, being handed over today, covers a total area of 6,300 square meters. And this, ladies and gentlemen, will go a long, long way in relieving pressure for teaching space at the University of Nairobi. We are grateful to the Chinese government which provided grant funding for the project to the tune of 1.4 billion Kenya shillings, while the University of Nairobi provided the prime land which you have seen, which measures about 3 acres and worth in market value close to 900 million Kenya shillings. The building is environmental friendly building and will connect and well connected with the internet. The lecture halls are equipped with interactive capabilities that make them very conducive for learning, and we will continue to use them even as we have this online teaching, because now we are migrated to using online platform for teaching. This comes in very, very handy, Cabinet Secretary. As the population and the level of activity in the institute continue to increase, there will be need to relocate the main access to the center from the Beretan Drive to Shirama campus as a safety measure for both the students and the staff. This will also enhance collaboration between Shirama campus and the campus, and also ensure continuity of function of the university between this institute and the rest of the campuses. The construction of the bridge and the other incidental works that were not foreseen during the project conception will require an additional estimated budget of about 100 million Kenya shillings. Your Excellency, our request for additional support to complete these unforeseen works have been raised with your predecessors, and we are still hopeful that both the Kenyan government and the people in the Republic of China will take this work up so that we can have that completed. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm greatly pleased to have witnessed this milestone of handing over of the institute, which goes a long way in strengthening the bond of friendship between the people of Kenya and the People's Republic of China. God bless you all. I want now, sorry, you can clap? Yeah. So I want now to invite His Excellency, the Ambassador of China, who had indicated that he is headed for another meeting, so he will address us now, proceed for that meeting, and later on come back to join us. Welcome, Your Excellency, Ambassador Wu Peng. Welcome. Address the gathering. Asante sana. Yes.
Thank you so much, Vice Chancellor. Honorable Professor George Mogoha, CS for Education, Professor Julia Ojembo, Chair of Council, University of Nairobi, Dr. Vijay Ratansi, Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Professor Stephen Kiyama, Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Mr. Ma Jianfei, Deputy Chief Executive of the Confucius Institute Headquarters, Professor Zhong Yinghua, President of Tianjin University. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my great pleasure to join you today virtually in the handover ceremony of China Aid Project on Confucius Institute of the University of Nairobi. First of all, on behalf of the Chinese Embassy, I'd like to extend my warmest congratulations to the handover of the project. I wish to appreciate the Ministry of Education, University of Nairobi for the valuable support to the success of this project, and thank the Confucius Institute Headquarters and Tianjin University for the contribution. China attached great importance to developing friendship and cooperation with Kenya, especially in the field of education and people-to-people exchanges. China has financed many education projects through grant, such as the China-aided Sino-Africa Jointly Research Center at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, the International Language and Culture Center of Kenyatta University, and Sino-Africa Primary School, etc. Currently, hundreds of Kenyan students are studying in the universities in China under various government-sponsored programs. This year's enrollment for Kenyan students is delayed, unfortunately, a bit by the COVID-19, but I believe it will soon resume to normal when the epidemic is fully contained. Going forward, the Chinese side will continuously support the Confucius Institute in University of Nairobi. The Chinese government will provide a certain number of books, computers, office facilities, and a grant to set up a library in the exhibition center of this new site. The library will be jointly built by the Information Office of the State Council of the People's Republic of China and the University of Nairobi. It will be divided into various functions areas such as book display, book reading, multimedia interactions, and others, aiming to build a bridge for Kenyan readers understand more about Chinese culture. Today, we are excited to witness the handover of the Confucius Institute building to the Kenya side, which is yet another step forward for China-Kenya culture and education cooperation. The University of Nairobi is the top university of Kenya and is very famous as well in China. I believe that by utilizing this new facility and by the support of the Ministry of Education of Kenya, the University of Nairobi will make the Confucius Institute the bellwether in Kenya on Chinese language teaching and culture exchange. Joining hands with the Kenyan government and its people, China will remain committed to all-round cooperation to pursue a close and bright shared future of China-Kenya relations. Thank you very much. Asante sana.
I will now invite again the director of the Confucius Institute to ask one or two people to make remarks.
Let us invite Mr. Ma Jianfei, the Deputy Chief Executive of Confucius Institute of Headquarters from Beijing, China, give us remarks. Please, 马主任请。
谢谢。尊敬的马果哈部长、茱莉亚·奥加姆国主席、韦琼·罗谭西校长、斯蒂芬·齐亚马校长、尊敬的吴鹏大使、
Your Excellency, Honorable Professor George Magoha, CS for Ministry of Education, Distinguished Dr. Vijay Ratansi, Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Professor Stephen Kiama, Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Your Excellency Mr. Wu Peng, Ambassador of Chinese Embassy in Kenya, Professor Zhong Yinghua, President of Tianjin Normal University, dear guests and friends, good morning. It is my great honor to be invited to attend online the handover ceremony of the building of the Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi. First of all, I'd like to express warm congratulations to the successful handover of Confucius Institute building and my sincere gratitude to the Kenyan government for its strong support for the Confucius Institute. Cabinet Secretary Professor Magoha, an old friend of the Confucius Institute headquarters and former council member of the headquarters, has been supporting the development of Confucius Institutes around the world. With His Excellency's advancement and witness of the project, from the initial agreement to this handover ceremony, the new building of Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi came to being. At the special time of our joint fight against COVID-19 pandemic between China and Africa, I am very delighted to join my old friend and witness the special project in such a special way. I would like to extend my cordial greetings and heartfelt thanks to Chancellor Dr. Vijay Ratansi and Vice Chancellor Professor Stephen Kiama. Thank you for your invitation and, more importantly, for your concern and attention to the health and living conditions and your timely assistance to the faculty and students of the Confucius Institute at your university since the outbreak of the epidemic. At the same time, I would like to thank Ambassador Wu Peng for your firm support to this project and your care for the development of the Confucius Institute and the Chinese faculty at the Confucius Institute. The Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi, the first one in Africa, has gone through 15 years of development since its establishment in December 2005. With the strong support of the Ministry of Education in Kenya and the close cooperation between the University of Nairobi and Tianjin Normal University, the Confucius Institute has yielded fruitful results in local Chinese language teachers training, Chinese language curriculum development, and various teaching and training programs and so on. It has won the Confucius Institute of the Year award for 7 times, contributed greatly to enhancing the friendship and mutual understanding between two peoples, and therefore built itself into a model for more than 500 Confucius Institutes worldwide. Kenya-China friendship enjoys a long history and is even stronger over time. With the advancement of the Belt and Road Cooperation, the Mombasa-Nairobi Railway has become an important benchmark for Kenya-China friendship. The abundant achievements of the 20th anniversary of the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation have brought Kenya-China relations to a new height. In the new era of building China-Africa community with a shared future, I am convinced that the Confucius Institute building will surely open a new chapter for Chinese language education in Kenya, make more contributions to people-to-people exchanges between China and Kenya, become another historical witness of our friendship, and put a wonderful mark on the practice of the building of China-Africa community for a shared future. At present, the global fight against the epidemic is still complex, and the Confucius Institute headquarters has been closely following the situation of the pandemic. We hope that all parties of both sides will continue to show more care and support for the prevention and control work of the epidemic at the Confucius Institutes in Kenya, and hope the Chinese teachers can pass the tough time safe and sound while providing better services to African schools and local students. The epidemic is temporary, but our friendship is everlasting. We believe with our concerted efforts, the victory in the fight against the epidemic will surely come at an early day. I look forward to meeting you again.
Next, let us invite Professor Zheng Yunhua from the President of Tianjin University to give us a remarks.
All the friends present today, old and new, good health and success. Thank you.
尊敬的吴鹏大使、马建飞主任、尊敬的乔治马佐哈部长、朱莉亚奥加姆国主席、韦琼罗丹西名誉校长、史蒂芬齐亚马校长、各位贵宾、女士们、先生们，大家好！今天很荣幸通过视频的方式。
Distinguished Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha. Distinguished Your Excellency Ambassador Wu Peng. Distinguished Deputy Chief Executive of Confucius Institute Headquarters, Mr. M.A. Jianfei. Distinguished Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Dr. Vijay Ratansi. Distinguished Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to attend this video conference for the completion and handover ceremony of the new Confucius Institute building and witness this historic moment with you all. The development history of Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi is the epitome of the China-Kenya educational exchanges since the new century, which is honored as a milestone in the history of educational exchanges between China and Kenya. As the first Confucius Institute in Africa, under the powerful support and care of the two state governments, and with the careful guidance and the help of Confucius Institute headquarters, Tianjin University has sincerely cooperated with the University of Nairobi. Following the philosophy of friendship, cooperation, development and win-win to deepen our educational cooperation and exchanges. Through 15 years of working together as responsible partners with shared destiny and bending our efforts in a single direction, we are the manifestation of a community with a shared future. The Confucius Institute has made remarkable achievements. It has won Confucius Institute of the Year for 7 times. It has been chosen as one of the model Confucius Institutes. During our pleasant journey of cooperation, we have forged profound and solid friendship. CIUON has been deeply rooted in the China-Africa friendship and is well loved by Kenyan students. It has cultivated so many students who have dedicated themselves into the Kenyan social and economic development and who have committed themselves to building and safeguarding the ties of brotherhood between our two countries. The Belt and Road Initiative has furthered our educational cooperation, and more students have been registered at CIUON, where more opportunities have been created for young Kenyan to learn the Chinese language. Since the Chinese language program being launched in the University of Nairobi in 2009, its graduates have played increasingly significant roles in all professions and trades of Kenya, who have developed and witnessed the China-Kenya friendship. The first train conductor, Eric, and the female train drivers of SGR, Elizabeth and Caroline, as well as the local teacher, Ruth, who is pursuing a doctorate degree in the Tianjin University, are all excellent students of CIUON who have made outstanding contributions to Kenya's economic development. The completion of the new building is a new starting point for CIUON's development, a new achievement in the China-Kenya educational cooperation, and a new stage of deepened China-Kenya friendship. I wish that CIUON could take this opportunity of putting the new building into service and strive to be the Chinese Language Educational and Research Center, the China-Africa Studies Center, the Joint Research Center of Africa's biodiversity in Kenya and even Africa, and provide more powerful and comprehensive support for local universities, societies, and Africa-China cooperation. Moreover, I'd like to thank Ambassador Wu and Chief Executive Ma's support and assistance in building CIUON. I thank my old friend Professor Magoha, and I thank Chancellor Ratansi and Vice Chancellor Stephen Kiama's full support in all these years. I cordially invite Professor Magoha, Chancellor Ratansi, and Vice Chancellor Stephen Kiama to visit Tianjin University at your convenience. We can plan a new development scheme, develop closer cooperation, and boost the advancement of China-Kenya educational cooperation and exchanges. I wish that CIUON could step up its efforts to create the lustrous pearl of the language and culture in the Belt and Road. It can not only let more young Kenyans know about China, but also let more young Chinese learn about Kenya, benefiting the cultural and educational exchanges between the young generations of the two countries. It will keep deepening the friendship and cooperation between the people in the two countries to let them work together and forge ahead and write a new and more brilliant chapter of a community with a shared future for mankind. Thank you.
It's now my pleasure to invite the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Dr. Vijay Ratansi, to come and give her remarks, and we invite the Cabinet Secretary. Vijay, yes. Let's come. Yes. That's good.
Our Cabinet Secretary for Education, our very own Professor George Magoha, Your Excellency Ambassador Wu Pan, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, the President of Tianjin Normal University, Professor Zhong Yunhua, Chair of Council of the University of Nairobi, Professor Julia Ojambo, Vice Chancellor of University of Nairobi, Professor Stephen Kiama, the Deputy Chief of Confucius Institute Headquarters in Beijing, Mr. Ma Jianfai, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic, Professor Julius Ogengo, all our principals, Director of Confucius Institute, Xiao Shan, our very precious and valued family present here today from our University of Nairobi, ladies and gentlemen. A very, very good morning to you all. I don't hear anything. I know we're wearing masks, but we can speak. Thank you, CS. I'm very happy to be here with you all and to celebrate yet another milestone in the relations between the People's Republic of China and Kenya. I am even more delighted with this partnership for the benefit of the education of our citizens, was born to fruition at our mother university, the University of Nairobi. For this reason, I wish to join the University of Nairobi and all the fraternity in expressing our sincere and heartfelt gratitude to the government of the People's Republic of China and the government of Kenya for signing, sealing, and delivery of this commitment. The Confucius Institute at University of Nairobi. At this time, when the world is grappling with the COVID pandemic, the celebration of good news is so welcome, and it's a very welcome break to focus on the positives happening in and around us. With courage and boldness, we reaffirm that our resolve to accomplish our mission and make the world a better place shall neither be shaken nor impeded. Confucius Institute at University of Nairobi will undoubtedly play a pivotal role in promoting education and the rich cultural and trade relations between the citizens of our two countries. In our collective efforts to be where we are today, I really want to thank the Nairobi County government for generously and in many ways making concessions
to make it possible to construct and complete this beautiful development. By allowing us temporary access to and delivery of materials via Arboretum Drive, the county government went out of its way to accommodate us and our needs. If you all cast your eyes yonder, that way, across the river, you will see the University of Nairobi's Chiroma campus. In recognition that Arboretum Road, given its location, remains a low-traffic road and is inadequate for servicing the needs of this institute and the university, the city physical planning requires a connecting motorway bridge. That's what you said, Prof. earlier. Between the Confucius Institute and the Chiroma campus across the river. This will shift the public access load and greatly limit any access through our temporary access on Arboretum Drive. I therefore want to request that as we open and plan to employ the facilities of this institute, our partners consider and support this request so as to bequest all our beneficiaries maximum benefits. As I close my remarks, I wish to thank most sincerely our partners from the People's Republic of China for making it possible to have a facility of such great magnificence and stature in Africa right here in Kenya. We cannot thank you enough. Finally, allow me to particularly express our gratitude to the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, for agreeing to be with us today in spite of his busy schedule. Many will remember that the partnership between Confucius Institute and the University of Nairobi was established and cultivated during his tenure as Vice Chancellor of the University of Nairobi. For this reason, Professor Magoha, you are very fondly remembered. And thank you for that. You're not looking at me, Prof. Oh dear. We hope that you will continue supporting your university as you have done in the days gone by. With those remarks, allow me to invite our Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, to address us. Thank you very much all for listening to me, and God bless you all.
Your Excellency, Ambassador Wu Peng, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Republic of Kenya, President of Tianjin University, whom I know as Professor Chung, with whom we have had a very long association, both in China and in Kenya, the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, my good friend and mentor, Dr. Vijay Ratansi, our Chairman of Council, Dr. Julia Ojambo, Professor Julia Ojambo, the Deputy Chief of Confucius Institute headquarters in Beijing, Mr. Jian Fei, Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiama, and my very good friend, former Vice Chancellor, former PS of Education, Professor Crispus Makau Kiamba, who is here today. You are welcome, sir. Professor Kiamba is my mentor and actually is responsible for the fact that I'm standing here today because he identified me he thought I had something to offer. at the management levels of the university. Thank you, Professor Kemba. I am indeed extremely pleased to be here this morning despite the COVID-19 menace. I would like to correct one impression. The Confucius Institute, when it came, first of all, came to Kenya, the original link was established by my immediate predecessor, Professor Crispus Makau Kemba. Thereafter, I think I went to the limelight because the Chinese president, the former Chinese president, came to our country in 2006. And the rest has been history. And I would like to say that in terms of brotherliness of the two governments, first of all, I want to bring the very warm greetings of our own President, His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, to the leader of the People's Republic of China and to the people of China in solidarity with the closeness that the two countries have had and the continuous working together that we are going to enjoy. And therefore, on behalf of government, I would like to express our gratitude to all the people of the Republic of China. I have been to China more than 40 times, all parts of China, from north, south, east, west, Beijing, and what have you. And for Professor Chung, who is now the current president of Tianjin University, I first met him as a young man, and he was guiding me on how to work in China, but now he has risen to the top of the university. And congratulations, Professor Chung, for a job well done in a very short period. I remember very vividly the initiatives and that these negotiations for this building started sometime around 2007. And I want to remember and recognize Madam Shulin, who was at that time the Director General at the Confucius Institute headquarters in Beijing, China. We had many meetings and many proposals, and by the time we were signing the agreement in 2014, sometime in 2014, I had a few months to go. And therefore I want to express our gratitude again to the People's Republic of China through Hanban for being true to the terms of the agreement. This morning I have walked through the Vice Chancellor and Your Excellency Ambassador Wu Ping. I walked through the building, and I think this is going to be a lasting edifice that will cement the friendship between our two countries, the Republic of Kenya and the People's Republic of China. And I was being told this morning that as much as this is a Chinese Confucius Institute Center, I went to the birthplace of Confucius many times when I was in China. I also hope that that spirit of Confucius himself will be infused in our own people, and that as we learn their culture, this center will also serve to strengthen our own cultures so that the Chinese people can understand us. You cannot be good friends if you don't understand each other's culture. So I believe that this is going to be a two-way affair. And from what I have seen, I think we have trained, when we started, we had a little bit of problem. We gave 2 or 3 rooms in the old college to the Confucius Institute, and we started with a few students. And I'm well informed that up to the present time we have trained more than 17,000 Kenyans way of life, Chinese language, and this has gone through the different aspects of government, starting from our own Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Your Excellency, to other government workers, to people in the air travel, to people in commerce and industry, and the list continues. Of course, at that time, 15 years ago when we first went to China in 2005, there are a handful of Chinese in Kenya. But as we speak today, the SDR is a lasting edifice which is making a lasting impression in ferrying goods from our port of Mombasa to Nairobi and to Naivasha in record time. The University of the Future is characterized by internationalization of programs where cross-pollination is made through. This facility will offer the University of Nairobi a very rare opportunity for increased students and staff. And I think, Professor Kiama, it is a direct challenge to you to get more foreign students who may come from the surrounding and even from far to come and study Chinese language, among others, in these very excellent facilities in order for you to survive. Among the beneficiaries I've already mentioned include our immigration staff. And going forward, ladies and gentlemen, I dare say that this is the university because it is the oldest, it is the most fortunate with infrastructure, and we are very lucky that I think the Faculty of Languages, which is going to be teaching Chinese language, may end up being one of the strongest news tools in our tripod that we have, and that from the government point of view, if we are unable to use this facility, then there will be a problem. So talk about it. Let me end by saying that the current government is talking about competency-based curriculum, which requires that you teach languages in primary schools. The competency-based curriculum is so important that it requires that you teach languages starting from grade 4 in primary schools. There is no reason why one of those languages should not be Chinese. But since we have about 30,000 primary schools, this is an opportunity to train teachers who will teach in Chinese, and also to encourage the government of the Republic of China to partner with us in this process and to ensure that those children who are keen on being experts in Chinese start at that stage. That's another advantage. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to bore you. This is my home. I've given 32 years of my life to this institution, and I believe I've been borrowed by the central government, and as soon as that borrowing is complete, I will come back and enjoy these facilities. Thank you very much. I am supposed to say that I now declare this open. So it's now my singular and distinguished pleasure to declare this open. Is there any certificate to sign? So nikae hapa.
Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, and I'd like to recognize Professor Crispus Kiamba. Thank you for being here with us today. Your Excellency, Ambassador Wu Peng, Ambassador of the People's Republic of China, the President of Tianjin University, Professor Zhong Yuan, the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, Dr. Vijay Ratans, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Stephen Kiam, the Deputy Chief of Confucius Institute, headquarters in Beijing, Mr. Ma Jiafeng, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic Professor Julius Ogongo, principals of the various colleges of the University of Nairobi who are here with us today, Director of Confucius of Institute, Jean Jean, ladies and gentlemen, hamjambo. It is my honor and privilege to move a vote of thanks on behalf of the university to all those who have contributed in one way or the other towards this successful handover event for the Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi. I intend to be faithful to the task without falling into a temptation of giving a speech. First and foremost, allow me to recognize the distinguished online presence of the Chinese delegation led by His Excellency Ambassador, and further to allow me to express our sincere gratitude to the government of the People's Republic of China for this grant and partnership towards realization of the Confucius Institute at the University of Nairobi. We feel most honored to host this magnificent institute and its facilities valued at more than Kenya shillings 2.3 billion, including university land worth about 900 million. We have no doubt that this kind gesture will go a long way in cementing our warm friendship as a people and open up more opportunities to our citizenry. Secondly, allow me to thank the government of Kenya as custodians of this partnership and as ably represented today by the Cabinet Secretary of Education, Professor George Magoha, and also as he has, Professor Magoha has informed us of the history that prior to his being here, Professor Crispus Kiamba was Vice Chancellor, and both participated in ensuring that this institute that we are celebrating today would come into being. We want to thank you very much, both of you. It is thus befitting that you will be here today to receive this facility on behalf of the government of Kenya and the University of Nairobi. Let me also appreciate our Chancellor, Dr. Vijay Ratans, and our Vice Chancellor, Professor Kiama, for hosting and facilitating today's handover event. Finally, let me extend my sincere appreciation to you all who are online with us here in Kenya and also in China for your presence and attendance today. Representatives of state and state departments, representatives of diplomatic missions, all invited guests, and staff of the University of Nairobi. Allow me to thank our media partners present here today for joining us and making it possible for us to have a truly successful handover event during this difficult period of the COVID-19 pandemic. Against many competing priorities and demands on your time, you have deliberately chosen to be with us. And for this, we are very grateful. So we say, asanteni sana, and God bless you.